Welcome to Pharmacy View, Technology and Pharmacy Business podcast series, where we provide regular interviews with pharmacists and key industry people within the Australian pharmacy and associated industry. In each podcast, we look to discuss aspects of pharmacy operation and how technology is improving or interacting with each guest's current role or pharmacy related business. I'm talking today with Andrew Romeo from Melbourne-based company Aerion Technologies, who has been working and providing support to the Australian pharmacy industry for the last 10 years. Initially with the Symbion Pharmacy Choice Group, this has also led to a close association with the Minfos Dispensary Point of Sale team. Welcome, Andrew.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks for having me.
Great to chat this morning. Andrew, while I've given you a very brief pharmacy introduction, the truth is that your industry association now covers an expanded network of support to over 1,500 pharmacies nationally and growing each week. So, for the listeners today, who is Andrew Romeo? Who is Aerion Technologies? And what's this product platform that close to 30% of Australian pharmacies now has access to?
Well, plenty of question there. So basically, Aerion Technologies started out, what was it, about 12, 13 years ago now. My business partner, Anthony, and I started straight out of uni, actually. So we'd do something a little bit different, take a bit of a punt and start a business right out of uni. If I had my time again, I'd probably not do it that way. But yeah, we learned a lot along the journey. And yeah, it's been a lot of ups and downs, but yeah, plenty of interesting paths along the way. And one of those has been led into what is now pharmacy. So we got introduced into pharmacy through a pharmacist, actually. So we met a pharmacist that was looking to actually build a marketing group at the time. And he was dealing with a few different suppliers and wholesalers, and we got some introductions at that time. Some of the people we met were Pharmacy Choice, and Pharmacy Choice was sort of at a need at the time where they were looking to solve a problem. And we ended up building some custom tech along the journey, which was about helping them get some marketing collateral down to stores. And in effect, it was the initial version of what is now Shopfront Solutions. It was built a good 10 years ago now, that initial version. And then about 5, 6 years ago, we saw a bit of an opening in the market and basically looked at it and said, okay, could we commercialize a product like this? Everyone in the market may see some value from a ticketing solution as to what it was back then, with the vision of becoming a marketing platform to better serve marketing groups and even stores at a store level, because it was all about actioning marketing content at a store. And we started about that process. We began building what is now a SaaS platform, is fully web-based platform, which enables stores to print out marketing collateral from anywhere from flyers, ticketing, and the roadmap is leading into social components to this, as well as digital is now starting to be one of the things that we do within the Shopfront business. So it's been an exciting time, exciting journey working on the products. We are now in, yes, as you said, over 1,500 pharmacies in the products, and we're basically working across Pharmacy Choice, Pharmacy Alliance, and also Kempro up in Queensland. So it's been a good journey so far.
Great stuff. So, if I say that back to you from a layman's point of view, you've got a platform that allows pharmacies to print tickets in their pharmacy and effectively eliminate those big bundles of pre-printed tickets being sent out. Some which get used, some don't get used, and more often than not, there's probably not enough of the ones that you need. So this allows a pharmacy team to actually print from the marketing promotion exactly the tickets they need for their specific pharmacy. That's what I've understood?
Yeah, so it gives that flexibility because as stores get marketing packs, they're pre-done, they're preset. You get one or two tickets depending on what the range might be, but your store may be bigger, smaller, may not need these certain things, and it doesn't give you any flexibility to do other things outside a marketing campaign. Whereas the platform gives you that ability to go on, print some tickets that you might need if you want to put something on sale yourself, and bring some attention to that product. So it is effectively actioned at the pharmacy level.
And again, that was going to be my next question. So, as much as this might be driven from a catalogue or a promotion from the pharmacy group head office,
Mm.
the system in each individual pharmacy allows them to create their own little promotions or their own items or their own tickets for their particular pharmacy.
Yeah, that's right. So it gives them that customization too. So getting a pack of tickets are generally some standardized tickets with the sale on the top, but in a platform like ours, you can basically customize them, brand those tickets yourself, put your own logos on those. It's really great for the independent offering.
Okay, so again, as much as we're trying to talk about a visual experience here, if we refer as a baseline to the pre-printed tickets that would come out from a head office or from a printer, this allows the pharmacy to print on pre-colored cards or print color and black and white onto cards, and I guess also have their own specials or their own flavor. So if there's a particular town flavor or a community, something happened in a community, they could create their own little flyer for their own little town.
Yeah, it gives them that flexibility so they can go in, design their own little flyers, as well as, yes, they can pre-print on colored paper, which is brought in bulk. That is an option, and just put the black text on top, or they can go ahead and invest in a decent color printer because you will need that if you're going to go down this path, and print out the full color tickets with your own labels or logos on them, for example.
So again, if I put a description over the top of this, this is a software platform
Mhm.
used in pharmacy to help communicate to customers about specials or promotions or products of the month in a pharmacy's environment.
Yeah, and it's all about communication. When you're standing in a pharmacy, some of the stats that I've been seeing that like 70% of buying decisions are made at the shelf, at the edge of the shelf. So as people are walking through the shelf, these bring attention. And if you're not ticketing correctly, you're missing certain buying opportunities. And even bringing new product to market, it's definitely something you should be looking at in terms of drawing attention to these products.
Okay, so I would imagine through this journey, there's probably been some challenges. We're
Mhm.
dealing with a very tech savvy industry in the pharmacy. The pharmacists love their technology. So has there been some challenges along the way with the platform and the build that has created opportunity for enhancements and better outcomes?
Well, I'll take it back to so Shopfront is obviously the product, but Aerion is we're a technology consulting business, development business, and we're doing it for quite a while. So one of the things that we know in the space is no product is ever going to be perfect off the get-go, but building it with customers in mind is really how we started out the approach. Yeah, so we did have that initial sort of prototype that we built, as we would coin it, before we went into this platform. So we knew there was a need there. There was definitely a user base there, and there was a requirement from marketing teams to push down this type of content to stores and get reporting from it, etc. But once you get it in the hands of stores, it becomes the interesting part is that learning around how stores are going to behave with it, how they're going to pick it up quickly, because someone may come into a pharmacy, be working one shift a week, may have to print out tickets only once a month in some cases. So you want something that's going to be quite easy to use and flow through from the user's perspective. So one of the big things for us was learning that really. As we started building out more of a feature rich platform, we started stumbling across challenges where users may get a little bit lost in the platform. So we had to pare some things back. So that was probably some of the biggest learnings. And then as we moved it from what was a desktop solution, which was all installed on your local machine, and then it would pull content down, we moved this to a cloud-based solution. Now, some of the reasons for that is it was all about the roadmap plan, giving us the flexibility to move this to not just a ticketing platform, but to what is now moving into a marketing solution for stores with digital components brought in so you can get content on your screens, with the flyer components brought in, with socials coming in next year so you can actually promote from a social perspective through social media campaigns. So to do that, we decided to go down a web platform. Now, some of the challenges are when we did that, one of the early things was we're actually using, and I'll get a little bit technical, but I'll hopefully get over the top of everybody.
That's
Uh,
okay.
yeah,
We'll
so
bear with you.
yeah, bear with me. So back in the day, we looked into some technology and we thought it was Java-based technology. You don't need to really know what that is, but it became redundant about a year after we started building this thing. So we had to change tack. So that was a good awakening. So we had to change the models how we were going to get tickets from the web to the printer. So we had to actually start evolving a new solution. As we did that, we had our own sort of stumbling blocks, and we got to a point where, yes, we launched the product, it was all operational. But once we started bringing on more and more customers, we found that it wasn't overly scalable. So we had to rethink that again. So as you build technology, it's always evolving and changing. Technology changes, and the web has significantly changed in the time since we started building the piece of Shopfront Solutions. So you're always learning, evolving technically, but always learning and evolving with your users too.
Too. And look, I guess as we go through this discussion, we'll talk
Mm,
more and more about where you've taken the platform today. But
mhm.
my question for now would be: is that
Yeah.
Given where the platform is today and where you're taking it, if you were to step back that 10 years ago, did you ever envisage that this is where it might end up, or has this evolved through the journey?
Like anything, it always evolves through a journey. You got a starting point, and that starting point was to solve one problem: help stores get tickets on the shelf quickly and efficiently, and branded to for them. That was the initial the starting point. But then it's over time you look at, all right, how do we get more efficient in that, and things along the lines of integrating with POS systems has come about. So now we integrate with the likes of Z, Minfos, Fred is coming too. Lots, I believe, is coming as well in 2021, where stores can now walk around with a phone, scan some barcodes on a shelf, and then send those tickets straight to printing. Now, where does that efficiency lie? Well, I don't have to search products anymore. As I'm walking shelf, if there's some empty spaces, I can quickly create tickets, put something on sale, and build some efficiencies. So these sort of things come about as you speak to users and as you get feedback from users as to what may serve them, what could help them at a store level. And yeah, it's always evolving really. So you never really have the final answers.
Answers, yes. So on that basis, and I guess as I've researched your business and the
Yep,
journey, so started off with the pharmacy choice group with Symbiont, and then I think
that's right.
Chempro was your next client. Was there some development specifically for Chempro? Again, I'm not looking for confidential information here because
Mm,
the platform is now available, but
mhm,
was there something that you did for Chempro that took it to the next step? And then I guess after that one with the Pharmacy Alliance group, what was the development stages that sees the platform how it is
mhm,
today? Again, working with people in the pharmacy industry to create a tech platform that
mhm.
helps the end users.
I think, as I recall back, working with Kimpro, they were just looking for a way to manage and report on what was actually happening at stores. That's one of the big things from a marketing group perspective or from a top level perspective or head office, whatever you might call it. They want to know what's happening at the store level. Are things being actioned? That's what drew them to our platform. They were able to get real time reporting and updates. But then what evolved from there was really the integration pieces. So they're all on Minfos, which was quite handy. So all stores are running through Minfos, which made it a bit easier. So we started the integration pieces with Minfos, which was pulling out promotions for a store. So if they're running store promotions, we can then pull them out and then put them straight into some sort of printing. But then that evolved into what is now the app that started to get built and rolled out as of last year. So they're the things that we've been building with Kempo, but through the groups and through more stores coming on board, that's probably where the new vision for the product is
It
going.
was
It's yeah,
okay.
evolving from.
Yes. So before you go on to into the Pharmacy Alliance group, so if I can just say back what I think I heard you say with
Yep.
the Chempro group was that
Mhm.
because they were all on Minfos, because they shared a database, whereas a ticketing platform in the past would have relied on a promotional file to be sent from head office
Mhm.
or a little promotion built in the pharmacy, your integration of the Shopfront Solutions platform with Minfos initially,
Mhm.
and again with this mobile scanning app that you can use on your phone, allows a pharmacy assistant or a retail manager to walk around the pharmacy
Yes.
and create promotions at the shelf or print tickets from the shelf. You don't have to go back with a handwritten list of codes to kind
Mhm.
of type them in and then create the file. You can do this with a mobile app at the shelf in the pharmacy. That's what I think I've understood.
Yeah, it's exactly what we understood. So that came about when we were initially running some trials with some stores. And the realization was, geez, it takes a lot of time to figure out where I want to put tickets, write everything down, and then go back and then manually type in this data. And I think we spent at one store in particular 3 or 4 hours helping them set up some tickets around their shelves. And I was thinking to myself, and we started asking questions, how else might we do this better? And that started evolving in what became the first, which is now integrated with Minfos for Kempo rollout first, and it's rolling out to the rest of our customers now. So yeah, that is definitely where it started from.
Okay, so again, yeah, the Shopfront Solutions platform
Mhm.
actually has access to or interrogates the price file database in the individual pharmacy. That's what I
Yeah,
think I'm
so they
hearing.
get live pricing out of their pharmacy itself. Obviously, pharmacies can have different pricing across different stores, even in the
Yep.
same banner. Yeah, so it is important to get the pricing at the store level, not from a head office pushing down. That's
Yeah.
okay for promotions, but not what's happening in real time in a store level.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Well, I think I've understood that, and hopefully the listeners do as well. But
Mhm.
we'll include links in our show notes to the web page for this as
Mhm.
well. So if I move on then to the Pharmacy Alliance, which I think from the journey as I've researched is your next major client. So what kind of development came in terms of working with them that sees the platform where it is now and I guess future?
Well, when we first engaged and started talking with Pharmacy Alliance, it was more about expanding what was being put on the ticket. So that started evolving, putting custom logos on tickets. It started evolving, putting barcodes on tickets. QR codes, I think, is one of the next things that will go on tickets. So it started evolving what was printed at the shelf level. That was one of the major things. A little bit on a reporting side too. So we started increasing what was happening from a reporting perspective, what information you could get, active logins to the platform, etc. How often people were actually going back and using it, not just what they were printing. So started increasing the tracking through the platform. Through our journey with Pharmacy Alliance, we've been working with them for almost 12 months now. Yeah, not quite 12 months, but getting there now. We started looking at what the vision for the product really is. As a marketing team perspective, they don't just push out tickets. There's a whole lot of collateral that goes along with pushing out a campaign, and that ventures into some stores have digital, some stores need social requirements to post out Instagram tiles, to post out Facebook posts, for example. And it started talking around that conversation, and it's opened up what this platform really will be come 2021, which is an end-to-end marketing solution that covers off in-store ticketing, flyers, thinking posters. How do we get a poster to a store that's an A1 poster? By making it efficient and allowing them to customize that. How do we allow a store to customize their social tiles and post those? So it's thinking of becoming more of a marketing platform that's still controlled from a head office perspective, but giving the stores that flexibility to customize across all the medium.
Okay, I mean that's quite a broad approach then, isn't it? So if
Hmm.
again the journey's taken you from initially just printing a flag that would go onto the shelf in front of the product
Yes.
to now that theme, that promotion,
Mhm.
a pharmacy within those groups, either today or fairly shortly or in 2021, would be able to use this platform and the media file from the head office or the one that they've created for themselves,
Mhm.
and then apply that theme across all of their whether it's a shelf label, whether it's a flyer for the counter, whether it's a poster. Obviously, printing posters,
Yes.
there would be printer limitations in a pharmacy, but does that allow the a larger poster if you could send that out to like an Officeworks or someone like that?
That's a vision, yeah. So we're looking to some channel partners that we would integrate with and then send files to. So allow stores to still do that customization, put their logos on, maybe change some typeface or whatever it might be, and then send it to a printer and get it delivered. Just to ease that burden of them running down with a USB drive down to
Yeah,
Officeworks and
yeah,
jumping out of the
yeah.
store and taking people off the floor. And I think there are smarter ways to do things, and that's the vision for where we're taking it.
So yeah, so effectively, in a particular pharmacy, they might have a file from head office that might
Mhm.
need a bit of customization for their own site,
Yes.
location, trading hours, etc. Creates a new file that they can email to a printer supplier who could print a poster, a window poster, something bigger.
Yes.
And again, I've dealt with some of those companies. I mean, they can turn some of that stuff around within 24 hours. So you could
Yeah,
actually,
correct.
in the current COVID environment, you could potentially have a COVID poster customized and printed
Mhm.
in your window within kind of 24, 48 hours at maximum kind of thing, I would
Y-
imagine.
Yeah, no, I think the consumers expect, and still at the level consumers expect things quickly these days. And yeah, if you can take a file down to Officeworks, potentially you can get it straight away.
Yes.
Sometimes you might have to wait 2 hours,
Yeah.
depending on how busy
Yeah.
they are, even 4 hours.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if we can get to a 24-hour delivery time frame, I think that's a good outcome, especially at a pharmacy level when they can get
Mm.
all their drugs delivered from wholesaler in a
Yeah.
24-hour period. So we need to sort of be matching that expectation.
Rotation. Yeah, no, and I guess I think too, if I take that a step further, the turnaround time to get a pull-up banner printed, which some pharmacies do use, then there'd obviously be the option for that one as well, I would imagine. So before we go on to, I know this is heading towards the digital
Mhm.
arena, but I have to kind of put my greenie hat on here, not 100% greenie, but getting close. That's a lot of paper that we're talking about here.
There
I
is.
think I saw something on your website about an offset program. What do you guys do to help with that?
Yeah, so it's one thing we actions. I think we had a bit of a conscious conversation about what we're actually doing because we are printing a lot of paper. at a store level, or we're getting them sent out to stores in some capacity. So we started a program which is all about planting trees, and I think to date there's over a good 700 trees that have been planted as a result of the program. So we do continuously do that and donate to a tree planting program to offset what we are doing in terms of printing out paper on a
Uh,
daily, weekly, monthly basis.
Cool, and I'm sure some of the listeners will be very pleased to hear that. As I said, it's consumerism's been a big growth area in
Big
so
time.
many areas, and I certainly, as I said, I'm not completely a greenie, but I'm certainly starting to become very aware of our world and our climate, and I just see the amount of plastic that I throw away every day, and I'm
It's
thinking, to myself,
crazy.
what can we do about that? But anyway, so we said that that's the tickets and the posters and the flyers.
Mhm.
So the platform then is morphing into a platform that can actually take that same media file from either custom in the pharmacy or from the head office environment and actually play it on a digital screen in the pharmacy. That's what I've heard, isn't it?
Yeah, so, and you need to think about how that's going to work, right? So, the type of content you're going to put on the shelf is going to be very different to the type of content you need to put on a screen. So, in the end, marketing is all about the same brand message. Consistency is really important to when you're at marketing, especially on a store level. So, it's all about keeping that consistent brand from screen to shelf edge to posters in the window to maybe it's a digital screen in the window to what ends up on a Facebook post to then what ends up on an Instagram post. So
Post.
that's the thing to think about. All the content will be slightly varied across these medium because they're for
Yep.
different consumption, right? So,
Yes.
but getting them onto digital, there should be some consistency because I've seen plenty of stores where you walk into and there are black screens, especially in the pharmacy space where there's nothing being shown.
Yep.
We hope to help alleviate that problem and also some things that aren't consistent with message because they're complicated to operate, run, and change content. So, how do we better improve that process and make it happen quickly from a top level or from a store level where they can flick over a switch and then the content changes? So, that's the vision for where we're taking digital.
Taking that, yeah. And look, on that note, aware that Ascot Vale Pharmacy here
Mhm,
in Melbourne, and I'm hoping to get Jane Mitchell, the
mhm.
one of the pharmacist and one of the owners there, onto one of our podcasts in the new year. But I'm aware that you've actually set these digital screens up in their pharmacy with them. How did that go, and how's that all working?
Yeah, so Jane Ascot Vale Pharmacy was one of our trial sites. That is going quite smoothly now. We installed a window-facing screen and a couple of internal screens. And there's things to think about, right? So there's a portrait screen in the front window, but then there's landscape screens inside. So you've got different types of content you need to manage. And she can manage all that content from a simple web platform. She logs into can upload some photos, change some backgrounds. I know Jane's using a bit of Canva to actually help her design some things. So yeah, it is quite a simple, easy process to set up a catalog of what might get shown and a slideshow effectively on those screens that is all consistent with what she's doing on Instagram and Facebook, for example.
And did I, again, a little bit of research I did behind the scenes, did I understand that as much as it's a web-based platform, effectively Jane can control her screens from her phone, her smartphone?
Well, technically you could. Everything is probably a little bit easier to run on a desktop, but you can log in on your smartphone, change in, add new photos, or remove different slides that are going to be shown on digital screen. So yes, that is it's a web-based platform. That can be done
Can be done.
from a mobile device if you wanted to.
Yeah, well, and as I said, I thanks for the contact with Jane. I've reached out to her, and I hope to have her on in one of our podcasts in the new year, talking about what she's done with these screens and how she's finding them. So you mentioned then the social media arena as well.
Yes.
So and I did like your point there about the fact that different social media platforms have different target audiences. So
They do.
whilst a promotional theme or a pharmacy brand might show the same,
Mhm.
the message could be worded differently. So in effect, the base template might be the same, but the message might be different to someone on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, etc. That's I think what I'm hearing as well. And the platform allows for the flexibility of this different messaging on the different platforms.
Yes, it will allow. So we are designing this component out in the product. So this is the evolution. But yes, effectively, you'll have the ability to manage the content that gets distributed to your Facebooks, your Instagrams, and tweak that. Instagram is a very photo-rich platform, and you want to be more vision in terms of what you're publishing out, and then you've got your content that you can put below that. But it's all about drawing that person into some graphics, some imagery, and some really sharp content. So that's important. Whereas Facebook can be more posty, so you might be writing out some more content, more heavy, rich text, but also some visuals behind that. So, and you got different tile sizes and what gets posted. So you need to think about all that when you're posting to different medium.
Mediums as well. Yeah. Okay. So jumping back on a previous point around the link with the point of sales and
Yeah.
systems, I'm going to imagine then that there'll be some stage in the near future the ability to do electronic shelf labels with this platform.
Yeah, that's an exciting little thing that we are jumping into now with one of our partners, Into Digital. ESLs have been around for a number of years, but the challenge has been the level of technology, and they've never really been backed by any commercial grade brands. So we are partnered with Into Digital, and from an ESL perspective, we're working with a group called Solemn, which is effectively owned by Samsung. So they are commercial grade digital shelf labels that can put through stores. And it is cutting edge tech. So it is about the pharmacies that want to maybe think a little bit differently about how their pricing works in a pharmacy. If you're running a 24-hour store, potentially you might be able to run dynamic pricing and flick up your pricing by 5-10% effectively from 9-10 p.m. at night. So different opportunities that can exist in that space. It is very new to the pharmacy space. I have seen the little tags through the IGAs of the world and from years ago, but this is a beautiful little design, which is effectively like a Kindle sort of look, where you've got that nice little paper feel, not as screeny, and they're full battery operated ESLs, so they last, I think, 7 to 10 years, I believe it is.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty powerful tech, fully waterproof. Not that important in a pharmacy world where they need to be waterproof in freezers, but there are a
Yes.
couple of fridges for a couple of the bioceuticals type stuff. So yeah, there are some added benefit there too.
Okay, so I'm assuming or imagining that this is something you'll be rolling out in 2021 then with a couple of
It
prospective
is.
customers and clients.
Yes.
Because just on that point again, so the actual tags themselves obviously have a lithium or some high-powered battery in them that means that it's not like you have to get power
Uh,
to a gondola or a wall,
correct.
but I would imagine there's also some kind of security of these tags in terms of affixing them to the shelf because kids love picking things up off the
They
shelf in
do.
the pharmacies. So how's that all being handled?
It is a rollout process. So effectively, at the moment, you might have strips and plastic strips with your little inserts and your pricing in those. And I'm talking about the shelf price labels, those little labels.
Paper ones, yep.
Yeah, little paper labels. So to roll this out, we effectively have to remove those plastic strips off the shelf edge, clean those out, and install some new strips, which have some rails in these, and you attach the ESLs to those,
Yeah.
and you have a little key that's enabled to remove them. So once that's all fixed, you can't really yank them off the shelf. It's more about you
Okay.
need the key to unlock those and remove them
Yeah.
from the shelf.
Yeah. And I think I liked your point before. Effectively, these are controlled live by the point of sale
They
system.
are.
So if there was a 24-hour pharmacy and they wanted to have a different price point, from as you said, after 9 p.m. at night, whether it's sunset to sunrise,
Mhm.
there could be a different pricing structure for 24-hour trading overnight or something like that versus daytime, given that the cost could be variable as well. Now, I think the industry might find that interesting too, but it
Yes,
would be a good discussion point
it
because
would be. Yeah,
I'm sure there's some national and international retailers out there that would
yeah,
potentially be doing this and we don't
correct.
realize it. So
Mm.
when you're looking for something at 2 o'clock in the morning, whether it's a kebab or a cough and cold
Mhm.
medication, you're really not shopping on price, are you?
No, you're not. And it's an interesting conversation. We've had this with many people, and it wasn't effectively raised by someone in a conversation. I thought, interesting idea, but how would the market take that? And then
Yeah.
also, would the pharmacist be willing to do that at their store level? And that's questions for the pharmacist and the groups themselves. But yeah, it is there. It's available, and it's something that could be done.
Yeah. Okay. Look, Andrew, we're coming to the end of our time this morning, but that's been a really interesting insight. We'll include, as I said in the show
Mhm.
notes, a link to your LinkedIn page for anyone that's interested in touching base with you.
Yeah.
A link to the Shopfront Solutions webpage.
Mhm.
Is there any last minute points before we wrap up that you wanted to kind of highlight or talk about with our listeners today?
Well, I think it's been a really good chat, so thanks for having me on, Scott. In terms of the Shopfront, it is a growing platform, and we are growing in the space. And I think one of the key things for us is we are solely focused on pharmacy. It is a pharmacy platform. We work with pharmacy partners and people within the industry, and it's important for us to serve the pharmacy industry in the right way. And to do that, we've effectively niched in this space. And why we've done that is because now we can better serve the community itself, and we know what the community needs from a user's perspective. But we're always learning from our users, from head offices that we work with, and how we can better evolve what we're doing. In pharmacy, you mentioned it earlier on, we're pretty tech savvy. I would agree with that. And I think there's a lot of opportunity in this space to bring more technology into the space. That's something we are exploring from a business perspective. How can we bring some more innovative technology to shift the way people are, one, operating their pharmacies, and two, communicating to their customers and to their consumers. So it's an exciting space to be in. It's an evolving space. There's a lot of always talk about legislative changes and all these things that are occurring in the space. But it is a space that I thoroughly enjoy being involved in, and looking forward to bringing some more technology evolution to the industry.
Cool. No, that's a really good wrap up. Andrew, that's almost saved me having to say anything. So, on that note, thank you very much for your time today. And I look forward to chatting and potentially again in the new year and seeing what other evolutions have come as a result.
No, thanks, Scott. Appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for listening today. Pharmacy View is a technology focused podcast provided by Melbourne based business Aerion Technologies and Shopfront Solutions. Over the podcast series, our guests include pharmacists, retail managers, wholesalers, suppliers, and industry technology partners. If you would like further information on our podcast series or to participate in one of our episodes, feel free to send me a message or touch base through the Pharmacy View website, pharmacyview.com.au.